In 2007, Seán Quinn was worth more than £3 billion. He was the richest man in Ireland. He owned hotels, factories, insurance companies, and businesses employing thousands of people. So, here's the question. Why would a man who had already made billions risk an enormous part of his fortune on one bank? Because Quinn didn't just invest in Anglo Irish Bank. He kept going and going until his family's exposure to the bank became enormous. Then the Irish property market collapsed, the bank's share price crashed, and billions of Quinn's wealth disappeared. But that's only the beginning, because when the money started disappearing, Quinn didn't simply walk away. The courts got involved. Assets became the subject of legal battles. His empire began falling apart, and eventually, the man who had once been Ireland's richest person ended up in prison. So, how did it get this bad? And how does someone turn just £100 into a multi-billion-pound empire in the first place? For that, we have to go back to a small farm in Ireland. Seán Quinn grew up near Derrylin, County Fermanagh. His family owned a farm. After his father died, Quinn took over the farm. But farming wasn't making him rich. Then he noticed something beneath the land. Gravel. Other farmers were already extracting it. So, in 1973, Quinn borrowed just £100 and started digging. He washed the gravel, processed it, and sold it to local builders. That tiny operation became Seán Quinn Quarries. And Quinn didn't stop. Gravel became cement. Cement became manufacturing. And eventually, Quinn was building an empire. He moved into glass, plastics, radiators, insurance, and hotels. The Slave Russell Hotel became one of the centerpieces of the business. At its peak, the Quinn Group employed more than 5,500 people. Then came the number that showed just how far Quinn had gone. £3.05 billion. That was the estimated Quinn family fortune in 2007. Quinn was now the richest person in Ireland. A man who started with £100 was suddenly worth billions. So you'd think he'd stop taking risks, but he didn't. And that's where Anglo Irish Bank enters the story. In 2005, Quinn started buying shares in Anglo Irish Bank. At first, it looked like another smart investment. Ireland's economy was booming, property prices were rising, and Anglo Irish was heavily involved in lending to the property market. So Quinn bought more and more. By January 2007, his stake had reached around 5%. But he wasn't simply buying shares. He was also using contracts for difference, or CFDs, to build a much larger exposure to the bank. And that meant something important. If the bank went up, Quinn could make enormous gains. But if it went down, the losses could be enormous too. And Quinn kept increasing his position. Why? Because at the time, the bet was working, the economy was booming, the bank was booming, and Quinn was making money, but the entire system was built around something dangerous, a property bubble. And bubbles have one very dangerous habit. They look strongest right before they break. Then came 2008. Ireland's property market collapsed. Property prices fell, banks started taking massive losses, and Anglo Irish Bank was hit particularly hard. Its share price began to collapse. In 2007, an Anglo Irish share had been worth around €17. Now it was falling rapidly, and Quinn was heavily exposed. This wasn't a small investment anymore. A huge amount of his family's wealth was tied to the bank. So, when Anglo Irish fell, Quinn fell with it. In January 2009, the Irish government took control of the bank, and at least £2.8 billion of the Quinn family's wealth was wiped out. But losing billions wasn't the final blow. The real fight was over what remained. As the situation deteriorated, Quinn and Anglo Irish Bank became locked in a massive legal battle. Billions of euros were involved. The bank pursued Quinn and his businesses over outstanding liabilities. Disputes emerged over assets connected to the family. Courts became involved. Companies were being liquidated. And the man who once controlled a multi-billion-pound empire was now fighting over what was left. In 2011, Quinn applied for bankruptcy in Belfast, but the application was challenged. The bankruptcy order was later annulled. Then, on January 16, 2012, Quinn was declared bankrupt in Ireland. The richest man in Ireland was now officially bankrupt. But if you think that's where the story ends, it doesn't. Because the next chapter wasn't about losing money, it was about going to prison. In 2012, courts found that Quinn, his son Seán Jr., and Peter Darrow Quinn had acted in contempt of court orders connected to the preservation of assets. Quinn was eventually sentenced to 9 weeks in prison. In November 2012, the former richest man in Ireland entered Mountjoy prison. Think about the journey. A farm, 100 pounds, a gravel business, a multi-billion-pound empire, and then prison. But the collapse affected more than Quinn. His businesses had employed thousands of people. Entire communities had grown around them. And as control of the businesses changed, tensions grew. There were protests, attacks, and serious allegations surrounding people connected to the former Quinn businesses. Quinn denied responsibility for attacks and intimidation attributed to his supporters. By this point, the story had become much bigger than one billionaire losing money. It had become a battle over companies, assets, family, and control. And that's what makes Seán Quinn's story so strange. He didn't inherit his fortune. He built it. He started with 100 pounds. He found gravel beneath a farm. He turned that gravel into a business. That business became an empire. And that empire made him the richest man in Ireland. But the same willingness to take enormous risks that helped Quinn build his fortune eventually exposed him to enormous losses. He tied a huge part of his wealth to a bank that was deeply exposed to a collapsing property market. When that bubble burst, the empire began collapsing with it. He went from 100 pounds to more than 3 billion pounds, from Ireland's richest man to bankruptcy, and eventually to prison. The empire took decades to build, but the decisions that brought it down happened much faster. And it all comes back to that first question. Why would a man who already had billions risk so much more? Maybe because when you've spent your entire life betting bigger, stopping can feel like the bigger risk.